Hello everyone. Today is really special because we're wrapping up this series with the last video where I'm going to be creating my own habit visualization. I took this photo on a run yesterday. It inspired me to pick some colors from this photo and use geometric shapes to represent my daily steps as an example of what you can do with your own tracking data from the past few weeks of the unit. Before I jump into the code, I made a sketch on my iPad to plan out my visualization. Having an idea of what you want to do with the data first helps you know what coding tools to use. It also helps to know which pieces of code from the last few coding projects might be important to put yours together. The other reason to do this is that having an idea that you can see and test is often the best way to decide whether you like it or not. This is the idea of a prototype. It's a version that you can reflect on and improve for the next go-round. I realized that the bars could be like stems of a plant, and I can alternate between the flower colors of yellow and orange on days that I met my step goal or not. I shifted the colors as well to match what I was going for. Evaluating a design you create and using that reflection to iterate is key to being an effective designer. I can take both of these sketches as examples of my process and record them in a process journal. You'll be doing the same thing as you build your data visualization artwork. All right, let's start coding. I'm giving you this starter code to use. I put my own step data from the last couple of weeks into the list, but this can be whatever data you are choosing to visualize from your spreadsheet. I've also added a function down here that will save the canvas by hitting the S key. This makes it easy for you to download a version of the art at any time. Also, be sure to hit save as you go. All right, let's get to work. First thing, let's set the background color. Now I should mention, I've actually chosen all of the colors that I'm going to be using in this project, and I'm saving them into some variables that I can use just by using the name of that color. So you can see a red, a green, and a blue number for each of these three colors. All right, here's the command that we use to do this. Great, I'm going to hit save, run the code, and there's the background color we want. You can also see that I've added a for loop to go through the data. Now this code is from our second coding video. To start, I'm going to go up here and say that the number of days is 1. So we get a single rectangle on the screen. Then, once that works the way I want it, I'll change this number back to steps.length so that it'll find the number of days in our data automatically. Now, we start with a single rectangle to represent the steps for one day. And this uses the rectangle code that we've used in the day 3 and the day 4 videos. So the X coordinate is similar to what I've used in those videos, and the Y, I've just made a guess of 30. So this will draw the rectangle at our X coordinate, our Y coordinate, a width of 20, and current steps as the height. A couple things wrong here. First, I don't want the outline to the rectangle, so I'm going to use the no stroke command to turn off the outline. The second thing is that this bar is way too big. Notice how it extends all the way up from the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to multiply the current steps by a number to shrink that bar down. There, that's looking really good. Also, I want to point out that I'm using this math class coordinates trick, this function that I've provided here in the code, so that I'm using my math class coordinates. Makes it a little easier. Now, let's restore this code to be using the length of our data to draw all of the rectangles. And there we have it. So now this is drawing all of the rectangles all in a row. Now let's move on to the conditional statement. I want a circle to appear no matter what. If I go beyond my goal, I want the circle to be bright orange. So two things. I am using the goal met color that I set up above, and I'm using my circle command. This is the X coordinate, this is the Y coordinate, and I'm just making a guess for the radius of 20. Let's try it out. So I can see that the circle isn't really centered. I want it to be right in the middle of that bar. So let's add a bit to the X coordinate to make it so that it's in the middle. All right, that looks great. If I don't meet the goal, I want to draw a slightly smaller yellow circle. I'll use the same adjustment to the X coordinate to get it to be in the right location. So this will be an else part of my conditional statement. Okay, so we're close, but I actually went the wrong direction with the radius. I made it 30. Let's shrink it down to 10. There we go. Now, I've forgotten to save my work. So let me hit save. And I'm also, for the purpose of my process journal, going to save an image of the canvas to my computer. So I'll just hit the S key, and now I have that to use in my process journal. Final thing, I'm gonna add a soil rectangle. So that's the part in my sketch that kind of acts like it's the ground that all my flowers are growing up from. I'm gonna check this brace. You can see this is the edge of my for loop, and I'm gonna draw the soil rectangle outside my for loop because I only need to draw it once. So I've set my fill to be soil color, and I don't exactly know what I'm going for here, so I'm gonna draw a rectangle at 110. I'm gonna give it a width of 500 and a height of 20. It's not quite right. I'm gonna adjust the X coordinate so it's where I want it to be. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna save my result one more time so that I can add this to my process journal. I've drawn my bars, everything is looking really good. The last thing that I'm gonna do is I wanna draw this same thing, but on the top part of my screen. So I'm gonna run all of this code one more time, but I'm gonna turn off math class coordinates. And then I'm gonna take all of this code, including the for loop, and I'm just gonna paste it below. I hit save, I run my code, and now I have my visualization. So here's our final habit visualization. It looks pretty close to the initial sketch, and as you've seen, we've gone through a bunch of versions in order to get to this point. So the screenshots that we've taken are evidence of iterative design and shows how I navigated the innovative designer standards that we've been discussing in class. Please make sure you're doing the same in your projects. You may even need to set a reminder on your phone to save the canvas or take a screenshot while you work. It's the journey and the process that we're looking for here. So that's it for now. I'm looking forward to seeing your habit visualizations and your completed process journals. This exercise isn't just about coding. It's about creating a piece of art that shows one element of what's working for you in your life. I hope you can find ways to use what you've learned about coding to create something that is uniquely yours. Your data and a piece of you is embedded into the art you create. Happy coding, everyone.